Rural Americans deserve access to the best of what our nation has to offer, especially health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families healthy. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
Reggie, I just sold my car online.
Let's go, Grandpa. Wait, you did?
Yep, on Carvana. Just put in the license plate, answered a few questions, got an offer in minutes. Easier than setting up that new digital picture frame.
You don't say.
Yeah, they're even picking it up tomorrow. Talk about fast.
Wow, way to go. So, about that picture frame.
Forget about it. Until Carvana makes one, I'm not interested.
Car selling made easy. On Carvana. Pick up fees may apply.
In the squadron, they called him Bullets, but we call him Greg Kelly. Greg Kelly is on the air
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
All right, hi. I want to go back to the White House. He's all fired up, and understandably so. Put up President Trump. He doesn't like what the Supreme Court did, striking down the tariffs in a 6-3 vote. And there will be alternatives. There are alternatives at our disposal. Go ahead.
It was pointed out before, even thousands of victories over the years. To the contrary, the Supreme Court did not overrule tariffs. They merely overruled a particular use of IEEPA tariffs. And essentially, it's the use to get a fee. I can do anything I want with IEEPA. Anything. I just can't charge anybody for it. I can license, I just can't charge them. It's ridiculous, but it's okay because we have other ways, numerous other ways. The ability to block, embargo, restrict, license, or impose any other condition on a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off.
He's been saying that a lot. That this decision, bad for America, this 6-3 decision. I'd like to bring in the greatest lawyer I know and the bravest, Joe DiGenova, former U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C., and I know the law is a pretty big world there, and Joe, but what is your reaction to this decision from the Supreme Court that the tariffs were wrong?
Well, it seemed from the oral argument that this is what they were going to do. What I was very disappointed in the court is that it did not deal with the question of the refunds. I think it was a terrible mistake by the court not to deal with what is the remedy in a situation like this, where a president is exercising presumptive authority, and then the Supreme Court says, well, the president doesn't have that authority, and all these tariffs have been imposed. What I believe the court should have done is said, given the nature of the tariff and the interpretation of IEEPA, we will allow the past tariffs to stand, but there can be no future tariffs under this. They clearly had it within their authority to do that, recognizing the president's power in foreign affairs, his singular authority in foreign affairs. So I'm very disappointed. I think the three dissenters have written really excellent analysis of why this decision is wrong. They were outvoted 6-3, so the law is the law. I think it creates a massive complication for the president and for the administration. The Treasury Department says they have enough money to pay back the $178 million in tariffs that have been collected. Given the United States budget, which is in trillions, That's not a lot of money. However, it is disruptive, and it gives the Democrats an arguing point, and it gives people like the Brits who are fighting us on Diego Garcia for the Iran attack another argument. So I think all in all, it's not a good day, but I think that they'll be able to figure out how to deal with it. But again, I think the Supreme Court should have done something, said something, and done something about the refund issue, and they didn't. And I think that is really regrettable.
Joe, stay with me. Fantastic points. I want to hear President Trump taking question on this right now.
Firm decision now, and I don't think the court meant it, because the court doesn't show great spirit toward our country, in my opinion. A lot of bad decisions, but there are usually ways around it. This is something we could have done, as Justice Kavanaugh said, we could have done this originally, but we're doing it now, and the numbers could be far greater than the hundreds of billions we've already taken in. Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm very curious. You've spoken about
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Justice Thomas and Alito, as you know, are the most conservative constitutional justices. Do you think that you'll get to appoint 2 more justices later this term with similar ideologies? And what type of vetting process will they go through to ensure they uphold? I
don't know, but they're great justices. That's all I can say. And I hope they're going to be around a long time. I hope they're going to stay healthy. They're great people. They're great. And Justice Alito, too, to add to the group. These are great men.
Right.
With a great love of our country and a great understanding of the law.
Mr. President, are you going to ask Congress to take additional action on tariffs now?
No, I don't need to. It's already been approved. I mean, I would ask Congress and probably get it. When people look at the real numbers and you look at hundreds of billions of dollars that have come into our country. Yesterday I was at a steel plant, as you know, and I went to great place, great plant, great, wonderful people. And they were telling me, I said to them, you were there, a lot of the press in this room. Of course, I don't think this plane's big enough to take the press in this room, but
so
right here.
Joe, it's interesting. I love hearing him talk about this. What he reveals more than any other president I remember is a familiarity with the arguments, with the substance, and a real attachment, like a visceral, emotional, and also intellectual attachment to his position, America's position. I don't know if any other president has talked about decisions like he's doing right now. I could be wrong.
Well, I think you're right, and it shows his sense of his personal investment in the presidency, his belief in the presidency as one of the 3 branches of government, the executive branch, his belief in the centrality of the presidency to the well-being of the country. It is a truly Jacksonian view of the presidency, and he is superb at it. The president has a lot of skills. You can argue that his substantive arguments on this are not as good as they should be, but that's really wrong. When you look at the 3 dissents from the justices, they are very powerful in their approval of what the president did. And I think those 3 dissents give him a lot of comfort in the knowledge that his decision-making was based in good faith on his belief in the power of the presidency under that act. I think they probably have plans underway already to reimpose various tariffs based on other statutes and other interpretations. And I'm assuming that they're going to do that. What they do about the remedies remains to be seen. I can't, by the way, it wasn't $175 million, it was $175 billion.
Oh, I figured, yeah.
Yeah, I made a mistake when I said that earlier. But the bottom line is this. That's still a pinprick in our budget. And the bottom line is that can be dealt with through either negotiations or through more litigation. I don't think any money is going to be paid back right away, I can assure you.
Do you think, what do you make of John Roberts? We know about Ketanji Brown Jackson, Elena Kagan, and these others. But John Roberts, there are people who are deeply suspicious of him for a long time now. What's your assessment?
Well, I think Roberts did what he always does. I think I would say that he wrote the opinion in such a way that he basically apologized for doing what he had to do. He said, look, we don't have any role to play in foreign affairs or the exercise of foreign power. All we can do is interpret a statute. And so he was trying to make it look like that they were playing a minimalist role in this great constitutional battle, which of course is utter nonsense. They were the central player in a great constitutional debate about tariffs. And he came down on the side of the tariffs. Now, if you read his opinion, it's fairly, there's nothing dramatic or masterful about it. It basically says the statute reads this, and it doesn't say anything about tariffs. And so therefore, we don't believe I and the other 5 do not believe that he has the power to impose these tariffs. I think if you read the dissents, you could easily see a way that you could have gotten this decision to go the other way. But since the president lost Gorsuch and Barrett, I think this decision tells us more about Gorsuch and Barrett than it does about Roberts.
Yeah, Gorsuch and Barrett. I know that Barrett hates him. I mean, remember that look she gave him at the State of the Union? I don't care what they say. That woman hates Trump. Hey, one other thing before we go. I want to get you on, because we've never talked about it. The more I look at the Jeffrey Epstein thing, the more I agree with President Trump that this is a hoax. I mean, I can't tell you, the deeper I get, I'm like, wait a second. Pedophilia is a horrible, horrible thing. And it's just so infuriating that it happens, and it must be stopped wherever. But these accusers against Epstein, most of them were women, adults, when they said the abuse occurred. That's like my biggest, wait, what the hell is going on? And this, the Virginia Jaffrey person who made the accusation against Prince Andrew had to take back everything she said about other people like Dershowitz and the rest. And one more thing, she was 17 when she met Andrew, and whether they had sex or not, that's the age of consent in the UK, 16 and up. So I've become very skeptical of this whole damn thing. I think it's mass hysteria. Where are you coming from on that?
Oh, I have never thought much of the Epstein case. I thought this was a great waste of public time and money. The Democrats insisted on it, and they got what they wanted. They got legislation passed, which did terrible damage to our judicial system by removing the secrecy of the grand jury and revealing all this information. I think innocent people have been harmed. I don't think the victims have been helped one bit. There had been ongoing negotiations for compensation for various other victims who were discovered. Nobody has been denied compensation. This is basically prurient interest. The issue with Prince Andrew, that's for the UK government. I don't see I have no interest in that. I mean, if he committed crimes because he overstepped his bounds when he was the trade minister or whatever it was, that's fine. Let the UK handle that. But I think the rest of it I think it's been overblown. It's taken up a lot of public time and effort that could be spent more wisely on other things. But, this is where we are, unfortunately. And the media, of course, is responsible for most of this because they are useless, incompetent, unprofessional, and they want to sell papers and they want to sell airtime. So, there you are. Yeah, no, it's wild. Well, Joe DiGenova, so grateful for you. We thank you very, very much. Former U.S. Attorney of Washington, D.C., and so much more. And best to your amazing wife, Victoria. Thank you, Greg. You bet. You bet. Folks, I want to dip back into to the White House because he's not done. And I tell you, the thoughtfulness. How did Joe describe it? The personal investment, the well-being of the country, the centrality of the presidency to the well-being of the country. It's all here. Go ahead. A lot of times you'll read a dissent and it's like, well, you don't know, it could go either way. There's no other way. The good news is, it's like Justice Kavanaugh said, very strongly said, you have other ways you can go. You don't have to go that way. You can go other way. There are numerous other ways you can go. And frankly, this should have been done by presidents many years ago. They allowed our country to be eaten alive. We lost 50% of our car business. We used to make cars. We made all the cars. And then Mexico came, Canada came, and Japan and Germany. But they're all coming back now. They're all coming back at record levels. No, please.
I'm not talking to you. I don't talk to CNN. It's fake news. Go ahead.
Mr. President, yesterday you made the case that the economy is the hottest it's been in a long time. Right. January jobs report beat expectations. CPI report beat expectation. Real wages are up. What would you tell Americans who are worried that this decision will kind of throw the economy that you have projected going in the right direction at a very rapid pace off track?
Well, thank you for the question. And I will say this. We really are at a very important point. I've been waiting for this decision so long. They could have made this decision a long time ago. Not complex. They're wrong on it. It's a ridiculous decision. But they should have released this a long time ago. We waited months. And that gave uncertainty. Now we have certainty. And I think you're going to see the country get much stronger because of it. Look, we were ripped off by almost every country in the world. If you look at the surpluses, almost every country in the world that did business with us, our people were stupid. And I blame presidents for it because they're ultimately the leader. We were being ripped off by almost every single country in the world had some massive surpluses. China had hundreds of billions of dollars in surpluses with the United States. They rebuilt China. They rebuilt the army. We built China's army by allowing that to happen. I have a great relationship with President Xi, but he respects our country now. Now, what we've done, I charged China a 20% tariff as a penalty for sending fentanyl in. And that was 20 times more than they could make by selling fentanyl. And I said, at some point you're going to say, and they have reduced it. Fentanyl is down by more than 30% coming into our country. Part of that is our strong border. We have a strong border now. But thank you. Thank you for your question.
Mr. President, the U.S. would be, quote, financially defenseless. Are we financially defenseless right now?
No, because we're doing something in a different way. We're doing something in a very powerful way. And we're using things that some people thought we should have used in the first place. But it's more complicated. It's a little more complicated. The process takes a little more time. But the end result is going to get us more money. And I think it's going to be great. Yeah, Peter, go ahead.
Thank you, President Trump. So, since Liberation Day, there's about $175 billion in tariff revenue that is now in limbo. Do you have to refund $175 billion?
Think of it, Peter. Very fair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars. And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. I said, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
What you're saying is, are you saying that you don't plan to honor refunds for companies that file for them?
I just told you the answer, right? I told you the answer. It's not discussed. We'll end up being in court for the next 5 years. Go ahead, Green.
Thank you, Mr. President. When you are talking about the relationship with countries that you have sought trade deals with, do you anticipate that they will seek to renegotiate those? What do you say to them? And do you view this as a potential undermining power for your negotiations? We're going
straight ahead with 10% straight across the board, which was the absolute right to do. And that's taking place. That's a lot of money coming into our country. And then during that period of about 5 months, we are doing the various investigations necessary to put fair tariffs or tariffs, period, on other countries. So we're doing that period, but we're immediately instituting the 10% provision, which we're allowed to do. And in the end, I think we'll take in more money than we've taken in before.
Mr. President, you've used the tariff revenue to pay for a host of federal policies. You claim that they will pay for them. What happens to
like the farmers? We took care of farmers. You know, the farmers were mistreated by foreign countries very badly, very, very badly. And last week I gave them $12 billion out of tariff money.
This is mastery. And I love it. It's a battle may have been lost, but the war, oh man. Actually, not even, it's like a temporary setback. Temporary. But to hear the mastery and the care for the country, that's really beautiful. Even in an alleged defeat, there can be victory. Experts say this flu season is the worst we've seen in 25 years. Either way, you know how this goes. Every year, someone in my family gets sick, then everyone gets sick, and suddenly you're fighting to see a doctor or stuck waiting in a crowded urgent care. Not this year. I'm ready. I ordered a medical emergency kit, and it's been a lifesaver. My kit is stocked with essential prescription medications, antibiotics like a generic Z-Pak to help you recover faster, amoxicillin for pneumonia, strep throat, ear infections, and prescriptions for nausea, UTIs, and they've got some ivermectin in there, and it's very simple. Match your symptoms in the guidebook, or you can call the telemedicine doctor who's standing by. Start treatment early, feel better faster, no waiting rooms, no pharmacy lines. I love my medical emergency kit, and you should get one too. I got you $45 off when you use my code GREG, G-R-E-G. Just go to urgentcare.com/Greg. That's urgentcarekit.com/Greg. urgentcarekit.com/Greg. Promo code GREG.
Thanks for listening to The Greg Kelly Show. You can hear The Greg Kelly Show weekdays at 12:15 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
Rural Americans deserve access to the best our nation has to offer, especially when it comes to health care. Across every state and every community, America's rural hospitals are the first line of defense, protecting our families, neighbors, and loved ones. No matter where you live, hospital care doesn't clock out. They're there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Each year, America's over 5,000 hospitals care for millions of patients, providing 24/7 emergency care, delivering babies, cancer treatments, and other life-saving care that patients rely on. Behind every one of those patients are doctors, nurses, and caregivers working tirelessly to keep people healthy and safe. Hospitals are our community's lifelines. They employ our neighbors and keep our families' health. But now, some in Congress are threatening access to care. Tell Congress, protect patient care to keep America strong. Don't cut rural health care.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return, but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.